How did you like it? Did you enjoy the world of Japanese folklore? If you liked this video, please subscribe to our channel and give it a thumbs up. We'll bring you another wonderful story next time, so stay tuned. See you again soon. The Grateful Crane. Once upon a time, in a certain place, there lived a kind-hearted young man named Yosaku. He lived alone, quietly, spending his days gathering firewood and tilling the fields. One cold winter day, while walking along a mountain path, Yosaku found a crane trapped in the snow. The crane was desperately trying to free itself but was unable to move. Yosaku decided to help the crane. He cleared the snow and gently lifted the beautiful bird, which looked at him with grateful eyes, despite trembling from the cold. "It's okay. I'll warm you up soon," Yosaku said, taking the crane back to his home. Once home, Yosaku wrapped the crane in a warm cloth and placed it by the fire. After a while, the crane regained its strength and fell asleep with its eyes quietly closed. The next morning, the crane flew away, soaring high into the sky. Watching it, Yosaku wished in his heart, "I hope we can meet again someday." A few days later, a beautiful woman visited Yosaku's home. She had snow-white skin and long black hair, and her kimono looked stunning. "I have lost my way. Could you please let me stay for a night?" she asked. Yosaku welcomed her warmly. That night, they shared a warm meal by the fire while talking. The next morning, the woman expressed her gratitude and said, "Please let me stay here for a while and allow me to weave fabric for you." Surprised, Yosaku accepted her offer. The woman immediately began weaving but told Yosaku, "Please do not look into the room while I'm weaving." As days passed, the fabric she wove became famous in the village. Its beauty and intricacy amazed everyone. Yosaku sold the fabric and his life became increasingly prosperous. However, curiosity started to grow within him. Why did she ask him not to look into the room? One day, Yosaku couldn't resist anymore and quietly opened the door to peek inside. To his astonishment, he saw not a woman but the crane he had once saved, weaving its own feathers into the fabric. The crane noticed him and said sadly, "You have broken your promise." Yosaku was struck with surprise and regret. The crane returned to its original form and spoke its final words to Yosaku. "I only wanted to repay your kindness, but I cannot stay here any longer. Farewell, Yosaku." With that, the crane flew high into the sky and disappeared. Yosaku deeply regretted breaking his promise and lived quietly, praying for the crane's happiness. From that day on, he never let curiosity get the better of him. Even after the crane left, Yosaku spent each day remembering its beautiful form. Determined not to waste the gratitude the crane had shown him, he worked hard and began to learn weaving techniques on his own. He knew he might never surpass the crane's exquisite fabric, but he gave his best effort. One winter day, while walking through the mountains, Yosaku felt a strange sensation, as if the wind through the trees was guiding him. Following this feeling, he arrived at a small shrine covered in snow deep in the forest. He quietly prayed for the crane's safety before the shrine. That night, Yosaku had a mysterious dream. In the dream, he met the crane again, and it spoke to him. "Yosaku, I see your efforts. Continue weaving with your own strength, not mine. You will create something wonderful." Encouraged by the crane's words, Yosaku dedicated himself to weaving even more passionately. His skills improved day by day, and finally he decided to bring his woven fabric to the village market. At the market, Yosaku's fabric quickly gained a reputation, and people were moved by its beauty. Orders came from distant towns, and Yosaku's efforts bore fruit, making his life even more prosperous. But Yosaku never forgot the important lesson the crane taught him. He prayed for the crane every day and continued to weave with gratitude in his heart. One day, a young woman visited Yosaku's home. She was as beautiful as a crane, with a nostalgic aura. She said, "I have heard about your weaving. Please, could you teach me?" Yosaku accepted her request and began teaching her weaving techniques. Her skills improved rapidly, and together, they created magnificent fabrics. She learned with gratitude every day, and a strong bond formed between them. Eventually, the woman revealed the truth to Yosaku. "I am the crane you saved. Moved by your efforts and kindness, I returned in human form to repay you." Yosaku was astonished but filled with gratitude and joy. The two continued to weave together, sharing happy days. Their fabrics brought joy to many people, and Yosaku never forgot to be grateful for reuniting with the crane. Urashima Taro. Once upon a time, in a seaside village, there lived a kind-hearted fisherman named Urashima Taro. Having lived by the sea since childhood, Taro had a deep love for nature and its creatures, earning him a good reputation as a fisherman. Every morning, Taro would wake up early and head to the sea, working diligently until the sun set. His home was modest and small, but always kept clean. One day, on his way to fish, Taro encountered an old man sitting exhausted by the roadside, visibly distressed. Taro immediately approached him and asked, "What's the matter? Are you all right?" The old man, barely able to speak, replied, "I haven't eaten for days." Taro offered his own lunch, saying, "Please, eat this and regain your strength." The old man, with tears in his eyes, gratefully accepted the food and slowly began to recover. Taro then took the old man to his home and cared for him until he regained his health, for which the old man was deeply grateful. One day, while walking along the beach, kind-hearted Taro saw a group of children tormenting a turtle. They were poking it with sticks and throwing sand at it. The turtle was suffering, trying to protect itself by withdrawing into its shell. "Stop that!" Taro shouted, rushing over to intervene. "You mustn't harm the turtle. We must cherish all living creatures." He rescued the turtle from the children, gently stroking its back. The children, ashamed, ran away. Taro returned the turtle to the sea, and the turtle swam away, looking back at him with eyes that seemed to say, "Thank you." Watching it disappear into the waves, Taro felt warmth in his heart. A few days later, as Taro was walking along the beach again, a large turtle emerged from the sea and spoke to him. "Taro, thank you for saving me the other day. I am a messenger from the Dragon Palace. Princess Otohime wishes to thank you personally. Please come with me to the Dragon Palace." Though surprised, Taro accepted the turtle's invitation. He climbed onto the turtle's back, and the turtle dove into the sea. As they descended, the sunlight filtered through the water, and colorful fish swam gracefully around them. As they traveled through the deep sea, a beautiful palace, the Dragon Palace, appeared before them. Decorated with colorful corals and shells, it gleamed brightly. The palace walls sparkled like jewels, illuminating the underwater world. Taro was awestruck by its beauty. Inside the palace, Princess Otohime greeted him gracefully. She was beautiful and full of elegance. Her long black hair flowed like waves, and her blue kimono reflected the colors of the sea. "Urashima Taro, thank you for your kindness. Please relax and enjoy your time here," she said, deeply moving Taro, who then decided to enjoy his stay at the Dragon Palace. In the Dragon Palace, every day felt like a dream. There were delicious meals, lavish banquets, and joyous dances and songs. The meals were adorned with fresh seafood, and the banquets featured continuous music and dance. One day, while strolling through the gardens of the palace, Princess Otohime approached Taro. "Taro, today I want to show you a special place." She led Taro to a secret garden deep within the Dragon Palace. There, a large pond filled with beautiful, colorful koi fish awaited them. Princess Otohime sat by the pond and said, "These koi fish are here to grant the wishes of kind-hearted people like you." Moved by her words, Taro quietly prayed to the koi fish in the pond. His prayers were not for his own happiness, but for the peace and well-being of the villagers and the creatures of nature. Seeing this, Princess Otohime was even more touched by Taro's kindness and sincerity. As days went by in the Dragon Palace, Taro spent more time with Princess Otohime, learning from her wisdom and experiencing her kindness. They talked about nature and its creatures and became close to the inhabitants of the palace. Though Taro thoroughly enjoyed the beautiful world of the Dragon Palace, he gradually started longing for his home. One day, feeling the urge to return, Taro expressed his desire to Princess Otohime. "Princess, I've had a wonderful time here, but I want to go back home." There was a hint of sadness in Taro's voice. Princess Otohime, looking somewhat sad herself, understood his feelings. "I understand, Taro. Please take this tamatebako with you. However, you must never open it. It is a gift from me." The tamatebako she handed him was a beautiful lacquered box adorned with gold decorations. Taro accepted the tamatebako and, riding on the turtle's back, returned to the surface. The turtle smoothly swam through the sea, and soon the sunlight reappeared. Once back on land, Taro headed towards his village. However, upon arrival, he realized it was not the place he remembered. The landscape and the faces of the people had all changed. Confused, Taro approached an elderly person in the village. "Excuse me, is this Urashima village? There used to be someone named Urashima Taro living here." The elderly person, looking surprised, replied, "Urashima Taro? I've heard that name, but it was a story from hundreds of years ago. According to legend, a young man named Urashima Taro went to the Dragon Palace and never returned." Taro was shocked. The few days he spent in the Dragon Palace had turned into hundreds of years in the world above. In despair and confusion, Taro looked at the tamatebako in his hands. "Maybe this holds the answer," he thought. Deciding to open it, a white smoke emerged from the box, and Taro's body instantly aged. His black hair turned white, and deep wrinkles appeared on his face. The tamatebako, a final gift from Princess Otohime, was a vessel that reversed the magic of time. Taro, now feeling deep loneliness and regret, sat quietly, but his heart held the beautiful memories of Princess Otohime and the Dragon Palace. He cherished those memories until the end of his days and lived the rest of his life in quiet solitude. The Tale of the Bamboo Cutter. Once upon a time, in a certain village, there lived a kind-hearted old man named Kaguya Maru. Every day, he would go to the mountains to gather bamboo, which he relied on for his livelihood. Kaguya Maru always had a smile on his face and was well loved by the villagers. However, he and his wife had no children and often dreamed of having one. One day, while Kaguya Maru was collecting bamboo in the mountains, he came across a stalk that emitted a mysterious light. Curious, he cut the bamboo open. To his amazement, inside was a small girl who shone with a beauty like the light of the moon. "This must be a blessing from heaven," thought Kaguya Maru, and he took the girl home. Together with his wife, they lovingly raised the child. The girl grew quickly into a beautiful young woman, and they named her Princess Kaguya. Princess Kaguya captivated everyone in the village with her beauty and grace. Many people visited Kaguya Maru's home just to catch a glimpse of her. Despite her popularity, Princess Kaguya opened her heart to no one and spent her time quietly gazing at the moonlit nights. One day, 5 noblemen who had heard of Princess Kaguya's beauty came to visit her. Each of them, wealthy and powerful, sought her hand in marriage. Instead of giving them an answer, Princess Kaguya set each of them an impossible task. The first nobleman, Ishizukuri no Mikoto, was asked to bring back the stone bowl of Buddha. Confidently, he promised to do so, not realizing how difficult the task was. He had a craftsman make a fake bowl and presented it to Princess Kaguya. However, she immediately saw through the deception, and Ishizukuri no Mikoto fled in shame. The second nobleman, Kuramochi no Mikoto, was asked to bring back a jeweled branch from the mythical Mount Horai. He attempted the dangerous journey, but eventually tired and had a fake branch made. Princess Kaguya once again saw through the ruse, and Kuramochi no Mikoto was left deeply disappointed. The third nobleman, Abe no Miyushi, was asked to bring back a robe made of the fire rat's hide. He traveled to distant lands in search of it, but couldn't find it anywhere. In the end, he too presented a fake, which Princess Kaguya recognized immediately, leaving Abe no Miyushi feeling his own powerlessness. The fourth nobleman, Otomo no Dainagon, was asked to bring back a dragon's neck jewel. He set out to sea in search of the dragon, but a storm forced him to return home empty-handed, unable to fulfill Princess Kaguya's request. The fifth nobleman, Isonokami no Chunagon, was tasked with bringing back the swallow's cowrie shell. He searched high and low for swallows' nests, and finally found one, but there was no cowrie shell inside. He too returned in despair. Despite their efforts, none of the noblemen could meet Princess Kaguya's challenges, and each one left with a heavy heart. There was a reason why Princess Kaguya set these impossible tasks. She was a princess sent from the Moon Kingdom as a punishment. While she enjoyed her life on Earth, she always longed for her homeland. She knew that one day she would have to return to the moon. So she kept her heart closed and gave the noblemen impossible tasks to make them give up on marrying her. One night, Princess Kaguya revealed the truth to Kaguya Maru and his wife. I am a princess from the Moon Kingdom. I was sent here as a punishment, but soon I must return to the moon. Kaguya Maru and his wife were shocked and saddened. Please don't leave us, they pleaded. However, Princess Kaguya's resolve was firm, and the day of her return drew near. On a full moon night, Princess Kaguya ascended high into the sky with the moon's emissaries. Kaguya Maru and his wife tearfully bid her farewell, but the beautiful memories they shared with Princess Kaguya remained in their hearts forever. Upon returning to the moon, Princess Kaguya stood before the Moon King and Queen. They welcomed her warmly, but there was also sternness in their eyes. Princess Kaguya, you have returned. However, you must not forget the sin you committed. Princess Kaguya quietly bowed her head and recalled the past events. Long ago, Princess Kaguya had spent happy days in the Moon Palace. However, her heart was filled with curiosity. One day, she entered a forbidden garden. This garden was a sacred place, specially protected by the gods of the moon, and entering it was strictly prohibited. Princess Kaguya was captivated by the beautiful flowers and sparkling springs and spent some time there. However, her actions angered the gods. The gods deemed Princess Kaguya's actions a grave offense and decided to punish her. Princess Kaguya, your sin is severe. You will be sent to Earth and live as a human for a while. Through the trials of the human world, you must show true repentance. Thus, Princess Kaguya was sent to Earth, where she eventually found herself in the care of the kind Kaguya Maru and his wife. The time spent with them brought her joy, but also a deep longing for her celestial home. With her return to the moon, she had to face the consequences of her curiosity and the lessons she learned during her time on Earth. Thus, Princess Kaguya was sent to Earth. Raised by Kaguya Maru and his wife, she learned many things during her time on Earth. Her life there was a trial that also nurtured her spirit and helped her grow. Upon returning to the moon, Princess Kaguya reflected on her experiences and spoke to the Moon King and Queen. I have learned many things on Earth, the kindness and love of humans, and the sorrow of parting. These experiences have helped me grow and gave me a chance to show true repentance." The Moon King and Queen listened to her words and nodded deeply. "Princess Kaguya, we appreciate your sincere attitude and what you have learned on Earth. You accepted your punishment and grew from it. We have decided to welcome you back as a Princess of the Moon." Thus, Princess Kaguya began her life again in the Moon Palace. She spent her days with the Moon King and Queen, cherishing the lessons she had learned on Earth. The Moon's inhabitants rejoiced at her growth and came to respect her. However, the memories of Earth always remained in Princess Kaguya's heart. Every time she looked up at the moonlit sky, she remembered Kaguya Maru, his wife, and the people she had met on Earth. She cherished her experiences on Earth and lived her days in the Moon Palace, applying the lessons she had learned. The 5 noblemen had all been captivated by Princess Kaguya's beauty and grace. They each attempted to overcome the impossible tasks she set, but ultimately all failed. Through these trials, they faced their own limitations and grew as individuals. Though they never forgot their love for Princess Kaguya, they came to understand that she was a princess of the moon, an unattainable presence for them. Princess Kaguya, while spending her days in the Moon Palace, always treasured the lessons she had learned on Earth. She showed the Moon King and Queen her growth, and they welcomed her back as a princess. Yet she never forgot the memories of her time on Earth, and she held a deep love and gratitude for the humans she had met. Momotaro. Once upon a time, there was a village. This village was peaceful and prosperous, but for a long time it suffered at the hands of demons. The demons from Demon Island would regularly come to the village, stealing food and valuables from the homes and terrorizing the villagers. The villagers couldn't sleep peacefully at night, always living in fear of when the demons might attack. One day, the demons appeared in the village, stealing food and injuring people. The demon leader was particularly cruel, laughing joyfully every time the villagers screamed in fear. The villagers tried to band together to fight back, but they were no match for the demon's strength. In this village lived a kind-hearted old man and an old woman. They had no children, so they spent their days quietly. The old man's daily routine was to cut grass in the mountains, while the old woman would go to the river to do laundry. One day, while the old woman was washing clothes in the river, she saw a large peach floating down from upstream. "What a huge peach! I'll take this home and share it with the old man," she thought, and she picked up the peach and brought it back home. When the old man returned from the mountains, the old woman showed him the peach right away. "Look, old man, this enormous peach came floating down the river." "Oh, old woman, what a splendid peach. It must be sweet and delicious. Let's cut it open right away." Excitedly, they prepared a knife in front of the big peach. "Old man, who will cut it?" the old woman asked. Then let me do it," the old man replied, taking the knife and carefully making an incision in the peach. "You don't have to be so careful, old man. I'm getting hungry," the old woman said with a laugh. "I'm hungry too. All right, here we go." As the old man put some strength into cutting the peach open, a healthy baby boy sprang out from inside. "Wow, look, old woman, a boy came out of the peach." The old woman, covering her mouth in surprise, exclaimed, "Oh my, this is a gift from the gods," and tears welled up in her eyes. They decided to name the child Momotaro, and they raised him with great care. Momotaro grew quickly and eventually became a fine young man. When Momotaro was young, he was curious and loved playing in the forest around the village. One day, while exploring the forest with his grandfather, he found a bird's nest on the ground. Inside the nest was a small bird, trembling because it had just lost its parents. "Grandpa, let's help this little bird," Momotaro said. The old man smiled and replied, "Yes, Momotaro, you are a kind child." Momotaro gently picked up the bird and brought it home. The old woman also cared for the bird, and it soon regained its strength. From a young age, Momotaro showed a kind heart and spent his days peacefully with animals. As Momotaro grew into a fine young man, he one day told his grandparents, "I am going to Demon Island to defeat the demons and save the villagers." The old man and woman were surprised, but seeing Momotaro's determination, decided to support him. The old woman made delicious millet dumplings, kibadango, for him, and the old man prepared a fine sword and armor. "Take these and be careful," they said as they sent him off. Momotaro set out energetically on his journey. Along the way, he encountered a dog, a monkey, and a pheasant. The first to appear was a dog with brown fur and a strong build. "Momotaro, where are you going?" asked the dog. Momotaro replied, "I'm going to Demon Island to defeat the demons." The dog said, "I will come with you. Please give me one of those millet dumplings." After eating the dumpling, the dog was full of energy and began to leap around. Next, he met a monkey with agile movements and an intelligent face. "Momotaro, what are you doing?" asked the monkey. Momotaro responded, "I'm going to Demon Island to defeat the demons." The monkey said, "I will come with you. Please give me one of those millet dumplings." After eating the dumpling, the monkey swiftly jumped from tree to tree. Finally, he encountered a pheasant with beautiful feathers and sharp eyes. "Momotaro, where are you going?" asked the pheasant. Momotaro answered, "I'm going to Demon Island to defeat the demons." The pheasant said, "I will come with you. Please give me one of those millet dumplings." After eating the dumpling, the pheasant soared high into the sky. Thus, Momotaro set out for Demon Island with the dog, monkey, and pheasant. During their journey, they learned about each other's special skills and characteristics. The dog was very loyal and fearless when it came to protecting his friends. One night, while they were camping, a big wolf appeared. The dog immediately confronted the wolf and chased it away. "My job is to protect my friends," the dog said proudly. The monkey was clever and resourceful. One day, when they needed to climb a steep cliff, the monkey used his long tail to create a rope, helping everyone climb safely. "With wisdom, we can overcome any difficulty," the monkey said with a smile. The pheasant was vigilant and could keep watch from the sky. Once, while they were traveling along a mountain path, the pheasant flew down and said, "A scouting party of demons is approaching. Let's avoid them." Following the pheasant's advice, they safely evaded the demons. Together, they continued their journey toward Demon Island, ready to face the challenges ahead. Finally, they arrived at Demon Island. The island had an eerie atmosphere, with a large demon castle looming in the distance. Momotaro gathered his companions to discuss their strategy. "Everyone, let's each fulfill our roles and fight together with all our strength." The dog took on the role of breaking through the castle gate. The monkey was to sneak inside the castle and distract the demons. The pheasant's job was to monitor the demons' movements from the sky and alert the others. Cautiously, they approached the castle. The dog leapt at the gatekeeper demons, biting their legs with his sharp teeth. The demons, taken by surprise, tried to chase the dog, giving Momotaro and the monkey the chance to slip inside the castle. The castle interior was dark, and in the grand hall, the gigantic demons were having a feast. Momotaro quietly moved forward, creeping up behind the demons. The monkey jumped down from a high beam, scratching the demons' faces and causing chaos. The demons, enraged, tried to catch the monkey, but Momotaro used this distraction to advance towards the demon leader. From above, the pheasant watched the demon's movements and occasionally called out sharp warnings to his friends. "Momotaro, a demon is coming from your right." Following the pheasant's advice, Momotaro quickly dodged and continued moving closer to the demon leader. The demon leader was enormous and terrifying, but Momotaro summoned all his courage and faced him. The demon leader swung a huge club, trying to strike Momotaro. Momotaro dodged the attacks and delivered a sharp blow with his sword. The blade struck the demon's arm, making the demon cry out in pain. "You little human, how dare you!" The demon leader, furious, attacked even more fiercely. Momotaro kept evading the attacks and gradually inflicted more damage on the demon. The dog, monkey, and pheasant worked together to distract the other demons and support Momotaro. The dog bit at the demon's legs, the monkey leapt down from high places to attack, and the pheasant swooped down from the sky, causing confusion among the demons. Finally, Momotaro saw an opportunity to deliver the final blow to the demon leader. When the demon leader, exhausted, showed a moment of vulnerability, Momotaro swung his sword with all his might, defeating the demon leader. The demon fell to the ground, and Momotaro and his companions emerged victorious. The remaining demons surrendered and returned the treasures they had stolen from the village. Momotaro took the treasures back to the village. The villagers rejoiced and welcomed Momotaro as a hero. The old man and old woman were overjoyed at Momotaro's safe return. Momotaro continued to live happily in the village, always protecting the villagers. He remained close friends with the dog, monkey, and pheasant, and they lived together in harmony. How did you like it? Did you enjoy the world of Japanese folklore? If you liked this video, please subscribe to our channel and give it a thumbs up. We'll bring you another wonderful story next time. So stay tuned. See you again soon.